Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning. Well, we continue to have lots to talk about. So if you recall, let's make this big. Yesterday, we had quite a big run up in stocks. Here was really quiet, and then we started getting a move up, and it continued. And in the treasuries, we just got the most beautiful trend day. Lots of absorption up here at 18.5, 19 or so. This is where we were looking to get, a second leg. We did get it, but it didn't happen until after we left. Now notice though, we still have stuff below us. So, this could continue. We could see the lows of the year. That would put us way down here. I mean, obviously it's going to take us a while to get there, but it's looking like we could get another one of these. I feel like we're right here. I don't know. We did get this. I hope that doesn't happen. But, so there is some potential for this to continue. However, it's Friday. So it's always hard to say what's going to happen on a Friday, isn't it? So, I am going to take some trades, but we're going to be playing very cautiously, and hope we can pull 4 ticks out. And we're going to try a little harder today to get an efficient entry. So there you go. That's that. Then for you guys in Bitcoin, I think it had another slight move up. Not a ton, but we are now above 8,000. So very positive in cryptocurrencies. And let's pull up our delta. See how my cryptocurrency portfolio is doing. I'm hoping the Verge is still doing well. Yep, 5%. I can't believe that was like $5 to $10 at some point. I mean, the Verge is something else, let me tell you. I'm also liking Garlic Coin now almost to 6 cents. Last week. I mean, this chart doesn't do very well. I think that there's probably a lot more candles than what gets shown, but we are almost to 6, so that's good, really good. I mean, even a cent in Garlic Coin makes a lot. So, and our Steam in particular is also one that's done extremely well, although it has come off a little bit. Okay, and then we should pull up our indicator here for sure. And generate charts. Okay, so on the 12th, it gave us at 78 a value of 116. So I still believe that this could be a bull trap. A trap set up by bears for bulls, or maybe not even set up by them, but a lot of bulls are going to step in here. I'm seeing some people in the crypto space getting excited, and I think that they're going to get hurt. So please be careful with the cryptocurrency stuff. All right, well, let's make sure that we pull the link for everybody here. Share that, copy. Oh, we didn't even pull up Discord yet. There we go. There is speculation that the Trump administration is planning to increase pressure on China by focusing on new tariffs and threats to block U.S. technology investments in China. This supposedly came out 1 hour after the keynote opened, which might explain the bid tone. But, you know, so something that I forgot to mention. Well, let's grab this link first before we go into that. For watching it. Okay, cool. Yeah. So the one thing that I think is kind of odd, or I'm being cautious about, is that the E-mini really faded at the end of the day for some reason. So this may have just been some distribution, people taking profits. We're already through it. I'm not quite sure how high it's going to go, but I mean, it's just, we could have a strong close, but I'm wondering what caused that. And I think that there are still some risks out there that could just pop in and hit us out of nowhere. So, that in mind, we should probably pull up our tweet deck. That's a great way to keep ourselves in the know. There is a strong bid here. I think that we might see the VWAP at 16.5 here. The first move was a buy on the open. Fed's Rosengren, more 2018 hikes may be needed than Fed median shows. You know, what's the zero hedge going on about untruthful slime balls? Oh, Trump lashes out at proven leaker and liar Comey. Oh, here we go. Okay, 18 minutes ago. Tremendous pressure is building like never before for the border wall and an end to crime-cradling sanctuary cities. Started the wall in San Diego, where the place we're pushing really hard to get it. They will soon be protected. James Comey is a proven leaker and liar. Virtually everyone in Washington thought he should be fired for the terrible job he did until he was actually fired. He leaked classified information for which he should be prosecuted. He lied to Congress under oath. He is a weak and untruthful slimeball who was, as time has proven, a terrible director for the FBI. His handling of the crooked Hillary Clinton case and the events surrounding it will go down as one of the worst botch jobs of history. It was my great honor to fire James Comey. Oh, I've never ceased to be entertained by Donald Trump and this political... I mean, honestly, guys, think about it. If Hillary Clinton was president, life would be so boring. It would be so boring. I'm glad that we have a shit-posting president. Maybe not everybody's on board with that one, huh? Oh, man. We'll stay frosty. He's still tweeting, guys. Well, this is not a good trade location for us. We are now in a zipper. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I don't know, guys. For those few of you watching, we've got 7 people. Yesterday we had about 20. I'm thinking everybody made a lot of money yesterday and they don't want to screw it up and went home for the week. Because this is just opened and it's dead as a doornail. And I mean dead. We're not trading this. There's no way. There's no way we're touching this. I think we should move Mr. Trump over here in the there we go. ZFF just doesn't seem to do anything. It's a bad tag. Would only join Trans-Pacific Partnership
Tucker
if the deal...
said just waiting for it to head for the lows and start printing past 130.
If the deal were better than offered to President Obama, we have already bilateral deals with 6 of the nations in the Trans-Pacific Pact and are working to make a deal with the biggest of those nations, Japan, who has hit us hard on trade for years. So Tucker thinks that it's going to go lower. And I do think he might be right, although a visit at the VWAP possible first. I don't know which is more likely, a test of the lows or a test of the VWAP first, and this is just a terrible risk-reward location because you basically get 3 ticks both ways. Maybe that means that we'll do both. But for us to do both, that probably means we hit the VWAP first. And Reddit, let's see. Now, what are they going to say about this whole James Comey is a proven leaker? Reddit chat works, that's interesting. Why hasn't he been arrested and sent to jail? He admits to perjury in his book. The double standards are ridiculous. Because Obama and him like to touch butts. Him and Obama are pals, and Obama's lackeys always get special treatment. Okay, there's a little crazy, guys. I don't think I'm going to read any more the Donald comments to you, because they're just a little bit over the top today. Ask Sessions, there you go. That's a good question. I do wonder, though, it does seem to me like they could prosecute Comey for some things. Maybe they will. I'm gonna eat a little bit here.
Diswave said GM. Tucker said I was -3 yesterday. My focus this morning is to really be in the flow today, to internally narrate my thought process better, and to as always take good trades. Alligator said only Michigan could move us significantly, so if no surprise, no strong move today. Equities make a drift here though. Tucker said, happy face, agreed. I wasn't going to trade today, but something has me sitting in the hot seat right now. Can't quite tell what it is. Maybe anticipation of volatility. Alligator said yesterday close below swing support, considered very significant by analysts. Tucker said 4 lot hit into 135. Nobody followed it. Definitely not the time for shorts yet. Tucker said idea, large bid at 120, 5,500. Day's action targeted those large bids under the market, and if we can convincingly break 130, 120 is what I'm looking for.
Okay, so my bias has definitely become short. Because we did take one tick down through that zipper, and we tend to get another one in that same direction. If it's not a false breakout, which it appears it was not a false breakout. Cumulative delta, from what I'm seeing, is actually lower. There was a pretty good sell in ZF here. And we're seeing some of these numbers below us firm up. My only issue is still the trade location.
The Finite Idea said I think it was mostly on shorts covering. I don't know, I just don't buy it.
So, one thing I think we should keep in mind here, I was just kind of thinking, because we're talking about how slow it is. That trend day that we had yesterday, I don't think they wanted to have a trend day. You get what I mean?
Tucker said nobody tried to buy 145 when they went 140 bid.
So there was an auction yesterday.
Tucker said on the same hand though, we've hardly seen 30k trade in half an hour.
Yeah, this is bad volume. Anyways, so yesterday there was a Treasury auction. And on Treasury days, we tend to be relatively range bound, and we tend to move up a little bit. So for us to have a big selling day, some of that selling may have been driven or fueled by people covering for the auction. In other words, they didn't want to make trades yesterday. They were forced to because they were going to lose a lot of money. So if that's the case, you just lost a position there or something, or whatever the case is. Why would you want to trade it here if you were a big business? You know, it's a Friday, so you have all sorts of political uncertainty. You don't know what's going to happen into the weekend, so you probably don't want to keep a position on that would stay through the weekend. There is a pivot a little bit below us that they could go for, but then what do they do after that? Because they're not going to go for the lows of the year like right away. In one session on a Friday, that would just be ridiculous. So from the perspective of institutional trader Joe over at Goldman Sachs or wherever it may be, there really isn't much of an incentive at the moment to trade, is there? And although I do suspect, look, you can only stay in an area like that for so long. Volume through here has been down, and we have had several thousand contracts cumulative delta down, and we have seen some selling pressure in ZF. But this could, or is more likely than normal at least, to just be all day traders. And if that's the case, then there's a real possibility of like an attempt to push through 13 and maybe even success, and then it flip right back around on us. In fact, there's enough volume here short that I wouldn't be surprised to see a move back up to 14.5. Even if this was the summer, this is pathetic volume. I'm still kind of favoring the downside because the way that the targets are down there and the way that they firmed up. I'm just not sure if they're actually going to get their targets. I think that you might see something like an impulsive move to 12.5.
Tucker said based purely on volume, I'd say that all the big guys have their computers off. It's just dead.
Yeah. That doesn't mean that something couldn't come in and move them. Fed's Rosengreen sees risk of rates going back to 0 in future recessions. I would be so happy. So I got like 4% on my house, which is good. Don't get me wrong. That's great. But, you know, if I could get 0, oh my gosh. It'd be so great. It would be so great. I would totally refinance my house. Think I could. I think I could do that, and it would be worth it. 4% on 40,000, and I don't know if it would affect my monthly bill. I don't know. It depends on how much it would cost to refinance it. If it's only like $1,000 or a couple $1,000, it'd be okay. But like over 5, maybe it's not worth it. Oh yeah, sorry, I don't have the Facebook. Smash the bid terribly slow. Yeah. Like even if this was like in the middle of the summer, this would be slow. And we ticked down 14.5. And it was still slow. Now there's some buying here. This appears to me to be what we were talking about, that there was some short volume, and because we're so rangy, it's gonna go against them just simply because that there's incentive. And if we went long right now at 14.5, and we'd be looking for the VWAP, and
Tucker
they
said,
might not give it.
How sad is it that it's come to that? I was talking to a buddy the other day and I was saying, hell, it seems that nothing other than NFP moves the market any longer. Trump sitting.
Trump sitting on the can creates bigger profit and loss swings than fundamental data does. Yeah. Well, that's just the location that
Jack
we're at,
said
though.
even the last NFP had one of the smallest ranges ever.
Like, yeah, the last non-farms was shady as man. It was so weird. But look at the longer term chart here. Bum, 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 ba-dum. We're in a very clear downtrend in treasuries, aren't we? And if I might, let's take a longer look. Let's take a bigger look here, shall we? Let's pull up the chart of charts. The chart of charts is not the chart of charts, but it's my favorite chart. really like TradingView. I'm like so tempted to start paying the monthly subscription again for TradingView because I love all their stuff and I really want like the volume profile charts and stuff again when I'm at work. And I'd like to be able to see those for the Bitcoins. Okay, so we're going to trade this to a daily time frame and we're going to look at ZB because that's where I put all the nodes in ZB. Okay. That look good? We can make it a little bigger than that. Okay. Okay. So here we are. Here's this past 2 years or so. Right? We did have a Fed rate hike. I need to make another bubble here, which was well, I don't know. I'm going to give it a week, but I think that we need to put another bubble here to say that no serious strikes or something like that. I don't know. But anyways, let's look at the larger picture. Can I go back further than that? Come on. Oh, I want to go back further. Weekly? Oh, I know you can do better than that. Well, okay, it's showing me back to 1999 at least. I think that this will load even further than that, but okay, so look at where we're at. The Federal Reserve is raising rates, right? They want to normalize monetary policy. Where have we been historically for the 30-year bond? Around 105 to 125. And where are we? 150. So we have a long way. A long way to drop. And we just had a pretty good drop there below these lows from last year. There was a lot of volume in it. It even beat out this pivot way back from 2015, right? Okay. And you have to sit down and say that the longer trend is definitely lower. And if that trend continues, what are we in right now? We're in a pullback. We're in a flag. We're in a bear flag or whatever you call it. Or, you know, it's like a bull trap. And honestly, the only reason that we're at where we are is because of political uncertainty over tariffs and Syria. So in that situation, you're a person that trades bonds or that invests in bonds, not trades, invests in bonds. Is this really like your best action? Maybe an opportunity to sell some stuff, you know? But I think that it's because we're moving up. We're moving up in such a negative underlying fundamentals area that the market's trading the way that it is. Because people would very much prefer to trade it when it's going down. It's just the way of things, I think. The trading always sucks on the counter trend. Well, on a daily time frame. I guess I do remember some of this, like through this buying was actually, I did okay, but it wasn't nearly as good as this trading. Definitely not as good as this trading. And this is where I made, you know, I did really well, you know. Of course, this thing, I think I started trading around here and I think I did a little well. And then when we got into this area, I did awful. See, I think around here, I had some struggles too. You know, those are the areas that are harder to trade, especially if you're a trend follower like myself. Malevolent Freak, did you enjoy the great short wrecking of 2018? Are we talking about the short wrecking in the E-mini or the in Bitcoin? You must be talking about Bitcoin,
Tucker
right?
said all I want for Christmas is these fives to break.
The fives. Well, you got a little bit of a counter trend move there at 14.5, but look, they just sold it. I think that the trend is still down. Yeah, so Bitcoin, yeah. I mean that's definitely what it was. It seems to me.
Tucker said something's gotta lead the way lower and the bonds ain't doing it, lol.
Well, the 5-year is like sitting right on the edge, isn't it? They actually went bid for a second there. I think on a value basis at the moment that a short at 14.5 or 14 is not a bad idea, because the ZF is already ticked down to and ZN has not, and so you could try and pull a tick out just based on it catching up, but I'm not going to risk it. 35% of shorts liquidated on Bitfinex yesterday. Very interesting. You looking that on Datamish, or were you seeing that somewhere else? Let's look at Datamish. Let's look at the last 7 days. Yep. There you have it. Although, look, the margin longs also went down. So I think what happened was, if we pull this chart up, you know, kind of what people were saying. I mean, I think that everybody called it pretty well. This right here was some longs getting blown out. This is like a margin move down, but there's no. It seems like all of this is being created by margin and not actual investors making moves. There's no investors that are in this that want to sell. I'm just not seeing it. So, of course, it's a head fake at that point. It comes back, and now they have to go and wash out all of the shorts too. Well, when I said if you taken the short at 14, you would have the edge at the moment. Let's see how many trade at 13.5. If we get a fill, I think we would. Yep. That was one good trade, but it was only for a tick. Well, now that it's ticked down 26, I think that you would want to have to hold it.
Block sell.
Wow. And it's following it. Well, so let's keep in mind, my theory was that we could see some sort of a stop run, but that it could snap back quickly. So let's see what it does. I'm not ready to take one. Did anybody pull anything out of that? I'm feeling a little bit more confident to click, just because I did read that action correctly, right? Remember I said that ranging and being really slow down here at the bottom is a bad thing, and that it could push you lower. And I also read the ZF leading the way, but this is where I think that they're going to have to pop it back. So here's where maybe we could get a good position. Pretty aggressive move down. E-mini was not moving during that. I don't necessarily see anything to have driven that move. So I think it was just a trade.
Watching and waiting. Super weird flow IMO after breaking the lows. It snapped, traded, and now it's back to quiet nonsense. Alligator said skeptic while ES below 2,680. Tucker said I have to disagree. There has to be interest and volume and somebody pushing size to create a move. Low interest equals sleep mode. Forrest said moving a bit now.
Well, I was hoping for maybe a pullback that I could take a trade because I like this 10 down here. To explain what I was typing there, the market is already very, very short. Even through all of this, they've been very short. And for every buy that we had, there was some aggressive selling on it too. And so if you already have a lot of people short, who is going to be there with extra contracts to push it over the edge? It's not there. And so what's happening is it's just kind of ranging until it gets to the wrong spot. And then somebody pulls a stop run and all of the day traders take it with the momentum. That's what's happening, I think. Jeez. Well, as long as this
Tucker
bids,
said, I lean on the side of the market just being full of speculators with a few million behind them. On any given day they might want to run it, and on other days they have mid-morning meetings.
with managers so it doesn't move. Well, I think you have to say that probably some of a lot of this volume is just the speculators. Okay, so it's just not giving me a spot that I feel comfortable trading it for a Friday, even though like this is turning into a strong trend. Because I want to get filled on the offer, and like where would you have gotten filled on the offer? 400, 100, 700? Not happening. Trump's lawyer Cohen will have a hearing today to suppress evidence found in raid. Wonder if that had something to do with the move. Then how long has it been? Now it's been more than like 10 minutes, so it would have to have been something further back than that, I think. Okay, so there's a strong uptick.
Tucker said, stalking short, anticipating ZB breaking.
Well, there's an iceberg. Now, I think based on this move, we have to rethink a couple of things because I don't think that just speculators could have made that. So I'm thinking I'm tempted to try and take the iceberg here at 12, but I'm usually 2 ticks early, so I'm going to see if it'll give me 13. Okay, well, they broke through that iceberg. They bid 1,600, which isn't enough. Everything has been going with 2. Smashed the bid, went short at 125. A good job. I would hope that on another day that I maybe, well, you know, when it came back to 13, that was where I was like, you know, okay, so now we might get a snap back and then push lower. And then they took it another 4 ticks. So he's already taken the +1 on it. Okay. It is definitely ZF that is causing all this. If you look at this FYT spread, I mean, they've got a ways to go before they get down to like lows. See? So I think you have to rely on ZF. Okay. Well, quite a struggle for them to even tick up 2 ticks, wasn't it? And there are some shorts to cover, though. So it looks like they're holding out probably because they think like me. Not that they think like me, but they probably have the same theory that it's going to go to 10. Seems reasonable. Now this right here, this big one at 287. Man, it just keeps going up. It's because Ethereum is coming back with a vengeance. And the Bitcoin Cash isn't bad either.
Jack said 30 should break.
You think they want to fill in the profile, eh? Okay, so here again, not a strong uptick.
Alligator said ES open W, plenty of sellers above, probably a bull trap, closing gap later, so maybe someone play this in bonds.
Let's pull this open. Why does it keep going down like that? It still looks weak in ZF. Okay, well, they finally got an uptick, but it didn't hold. That was when the E-mini was on its low. What are they saying in the Bitcoin channel? Yeah, Bitcoin options would be awesome. Okay, there's another uptick. E-mini moving down.
Block buy. Well, my read of that is that Tyler may not be the best person to rely on today. Because he sold here, we did get like 4 ticks down, but now it's back here, and you're seeing it the other way. That could be them puking. That could mean that we're going to continue up 4 ticks. but that doesn't seem like they're super reliable today. Yeah, we were in that range for 90 minutes. Wow. Spy Jared on Bitcoin. I see 1200 as an easy target, maybe 1600. Yeah. This is exactly what I'm talking about, guys. Bear trap. Sorry, bull trap. Wow, the rise of gray divorce is forcing a financial reckoning after 50.
Alligator said hard to tell, ES at support 70-75, 20 minutes before Michigan, big players waiting IMO.
Should we take it? I'm tempted. CB took a dive there. There's an iceberg in ZF. So we actually have a couple of things in our favor, and the E-mini just turned. I want to get a better look at this. Pivoted, but it's not quite. Okay, so 2000, let's wait.
Underscore NE0 said, yeah, I'm just doing that with tighter stop/loss.
We're talking about how to play the bull trap in Bitcoin. And I was saying, well, I think you have to be long right now. And I need to look at options for shorting, but I'm more inclined to just take the money out. Okay, see how strong that bid at 13 continues to be.
Underscore NE0 said, keep taking profits and stopping close. So far the directional moves are helping.
Not to, let's see if it ticks down again. $6J is getting a little bit of a boost here. And it's been at about the same time that we pivoted, so maybe a little bit of a correlation that we can keep an eye on. Alligator says, so far it looks like a pullback in ZF, but ZN can't decide if it gets out or stays home, leaning on range at least until 10 a.m. ZF could reverse right now. Yes.
Tucker said, for those like me who can't get a read, John Grady's webinar on futures.io is uploaded this morning. Should be a good watch.
Oh, it's on now? I was only able to catch the end of that. Okay, so important thing. Okay, so I said at 12, maybe I should take it short here because there's an iceberg. Let's hold off because there's a good chance it could go 2 ticks against us. So now 2 ticks, actually 3. And it looks fairly balanced now at 13. ZB, I think it still wants to go down. Unfinished auction here. It touched it so many times. Extremely disorganized also down at the bottom. So I think there could be a good chance that CB wants to take a step lower. ZN. I still see some people to be washed out. ZF, they've already washed out and are actually more longs now. So I think that we still need to keep an eye on ZF here, and if we see a strong tick, you know, a tick down where they offer a lot, then we could be okay to take another short if the location is still okay here, so above 120, I think. That's what I'm thinking right now. Okay, they did tick up, and it's still not like super strong. E-mini continues to move down, but they haven't hit the VWAP yet. Yawn. Now, I had a pretty good night's rest last night, and I'm still feel a little
sluggish. I think I've got some serious allergies. Well, well, well. 14-14 half, they gonna trade it? Aren't we glad that we didn't take it as short? Hmm. I think you got a. I think we have a volatile setup here in ZF with so many contracts along. It could just be covering. Maybe some people left some trades open overnight from yesterday, or I don't know. But I mean, gosh, that is a lot. That is a lot of long contracts. Not that we've made it that far. Which I think is another good clue. ZB also recovered. It's at the top of its range. action's starting to put me to sleep. So now 14.5 was the zipper. And oh, so we did get the consumer sentiment news here in a few minutes. Okay. Ryan, I've been in on this paper trade since Tuesday on ES. It came up through 2600. I mean, I feel like at the moment that the action yesterday was so positive that if you're a swing trader, you could keep this for several weeks. Orion says, is it a retracement day? Well, they've gotten below yesterday's high now, but they're not quite to yesterday's close. So, you know, 70, 65 could both be spots that the E-mini turns around. Yeah, I used to do that. I would paper trade, and I said I have a $100,000 portfolio, and I would take swings. And days like yesterday would be the days where I would take a long, and then just leave it on for, you know, a couple of days, maybe even like 2 weeks. And I think that I like made my money 10 times over on paper. I don't know if I actually would have been able to have taken those trades if it was like live, because maybe I wouldn't have gotten filled and stuff, but okay, well, iceberging at 14.5 again. Very curious. Okay, consumer sentiment number is 97.8, so significantly lower than last ones. Not terribly unexpected, I guess. I mean, come on, that number last time was so ridiculously crazy. Of course, it has to come back down. Now, the thing I find interesting is that inflation expectations have gone down. It was 2.8 and now it's 2.7. So that I find interesting.
Underscore NE0 said econ data looks bad. Underscore NE0 said the job openings too.
okay, this is if it flips, it might do it here. Nope. Defense at 14.
Alligator said true but should add some pressure up in bonds, and change ES direction, playing with support 2670 could break.
Oh, it just broke. Well, can't take a short here. I try not to trade huge amounts enough of paper, keep it realistic. Don't mind in market fills because I'm generally trading in trend direction. Yeah, I did that, Ryan. When I did that, I did the same thing. I basically assumed that I had a market order, and I was trading 4 contracts, but I don't know. The thing was is that I always sat down and I looked at it and he said, okay, I did this and I did this and now it went back. So I tried to be as fair as possible with it, but you know, I think that you're, especially if you're doing it like straight on paper, because I was doing it in an Excel spreadsheet. You know, your brain might find ways to cheat, then you might not realize that that's not what would happen in real life. And I think that the results that I had when I was doing that were just so overwhelmingly positive that there's no way they could possibly be realistic. I did. I was hitting like obviously I was doing it in Ameritrade, so that's a little better. I was doing it like 55% win rate. So part of it was just that I was, and I mean I was good at it at the time, and I guess I still am good at it. I was just able to identify monster moves. Like at the time, the big thing that was happening.
Alligator said a train.
Yeah, this is just not stopping, is it? Well, now they're putting the brakes on at 16. Let's see what happens. Yeah, after TD Ameritrade got together with Thinkorswim, I think that they basically took the Thinkorswim platform and duplicated it, and that's what the TD Ameritrade platform became. Yeah. It's not very great for what I do though, just because you can't see with their DOM, you can't see how many orders are hitting each price quite as well. Yeah, it's pretty good for options though. We're looking at it. I have to see. Let's pull it up because I'm really interested in Facebook, and so it's pretty positive again today. Or was that yesterday? No, that was the 9th. How come I'm not getting that? Oh, it's weekly. That's why. Change it back today. Well, they're down a little bit. I think, you know, I'd have to pull it up, and I don't have it installed on this machine. But when I was looking at it the other day, them puts in Facebook looked awfully attractive. And you could take them, like, you could buy them a little bit out of the money if you know, to keep it cheap. So you could buy like 160 puts, 160, and maybe, depending on the cost and everything, maybe you have to do it as a spread. So you buy 160 puts and buy 155s or something like that, and see if you know, I would want to get at least 3-to-1. Well, at least 2-to-1, but I think that you could get 3-to-1. Well, that was a positive uptick as well. I have a bunch of messages here. Oh, well, thanks. Somebody inviting me to a channel. Not too interested in joining other Discord servers, though, sorry. Oh, Farva is listening to me, and he sent me the picture. So well, the first question would be, which expiration would we want? Because I think, so he's showing me today's weeklies is definitely not the one that you would want.
Farva said, I'm Ryan in YouTube. Straight face.
Oh, you're Ryan. Oh, okay. I got it. No, I think we need to look further out. Like, what are like? Do we have anything in May? I mean, they're cheap, but some of those options expire today, right? So I don't think that those ones would be a very good bet. Now these ones, the puts for the ones that expire next week, the puts at 160. That's you know, $1.10. That's not bad. Here, I just pull this over so you guys can watch it. Well, let me. Oh, here. Okay. This is maybe a better way to do it. Okay. Oh, so here are the Mays. So there's the 4th of May. There's the 4th, and then he's got the 11th up. You might even want to look at the like the monthly expiration ones, which I think is going to be the 18th. But just on these ones, 160 is 4, and 155 is 3. So that one's not bad. I don't know if that's a 3-to-1 though, because you're risking. Well, where's my calculator? I don't want to try and do this all in my head. So you're risking $150, and you're making, well, if you're getting, basically you're making 5 times 100, I think. So I would have to open up the thing to be sure, but I think your risk reward ratio on that put spread is pretty good. Now, I know I've never done options here on the stream, and it's been a while since I've been messing with them. So now the question is, what are the chances that we get to 160 and then 155 in 3 weeks? I think you have an okay probability of doing it. Definitely Friday wouldn't be the day to do it, because you get so much option expiration decay over the weekend that it's probably better to wait on Monday and see where they're at. They're down this one. The thing is a couple of people are saying, oh yeah, well, this has all been bad for Facebook and everything, but they really want to show everybody by having really positive earnings and that prove the market's wrong and everything. And I'm just not seeing it. I think that you're going to come out and the results are going to be less and less and less people are using Facebook. So I think a short makes sense, especially after this day that he testified. The stock went up. I thought it was just stupid, because I'm assuming that the day traders are saying, hey, it was a positive. Well, first of all, it was a positive day in the E-mini. But then they were also saying, hey, you did a pretty good job answering their questions and everything. And I don't think that that's a reason to buy the stock. So I still like the short opportunity, and it appears just from the screenshots that you have a decent risk reward if you take a conservative trade. If you have more, you could just sell puts at 160. I think you would want to have much further out if you really wanted to make a longer play, though. Like maybe the quarterlies. If you wanted to make a big play, you could play on like the third quarter ones. That'll be all the way in like September or October. But those are going to be a lot more expensive, right? Those are probably going to be like $20 each. Oh, earnings on the 20th. I see. Well, so I think maybe then we should wait, huh? Because maybe the earnings are good. I don't think that the bad has happened enough to affect their earnings on this particular cycle. It'd still be worth it. Yeah, I think it's still worth a try. We'll watch it. Still worth a try. So the key thing we're looking to see is, will Facebook be below 155 by the end of next Friday? But maybe if you want maybe the trade that we're really looking at is maybe better placed after earnings. Let the earnings come out, hope that they're good, that we get it move up, and then put our short on. So I'm seeing that Zero Hedge is saying that it's the banks and Boeing that are bringing stocks down. Yeah, wait until after the earnings. I've found personally in stocks that it's always better to wait for the risk event. Like we really don't know, and we're not big enough experts on Facebook's balance sheet and income and so on and so forth to predict what Facebook's earnings are going to be. Oh, you've only been buying current week options? I don't know. The closer the expirations are, the less realistic your results are going to be. So, because they can be, the prices on those can be pretty volatile. Anyways, like I always wait for the risk event to happen. It's the same here in Bitcoin. Like if I wanted to take a long in Bitcoin, which I don't, by the way, but if I did, I would be waiting until after the 17th, essentially. Well, until after next Monday. And then, you know, see where it goes. Because that's the tax day and that's the big time that everybody's talking about. But I suspect that they just want to take it long, and that they're going to take it up to our 150. They're going to go to like 9K. You've noticed it hard. Are you talking about the volatility of the options prices? It's because you got to keep in mind that a change of just a couple of cents in options can really change the amount of your option. And if I had the kind of tools, here's the thing, like Thinkorswim is a really great platform for trading options for retail traders and everything, for sure. But you don't quite get quite the same set of tools that you have in futures, you know? Yeah, they are more correctly priced, not much room to get good trades. Oh, well, yeah, that too. Yeah. They usually have a pretty good idea of what the range is possible for the week, and you really have to get some sort of crazy freak move to make money on them. Yeah. So what I would be interested, the thing with options is that, let's compare it to Treasuries. In Treasuries, we watch these three. We watch the 30, the 10, and the 5. And we can have DOMs up for all three of them. And we can just kind of watch it, you know. And there's a couple of other ones, like we might want to put up some people like to look at the 2-year from time to time, although I haven't found that one to be too reliable. I've always noticed people will come into the room and they'll point something out and they're like, hey, this is really cool, and what do you think about this one, like the ultras or the 2 years? But then they kind of, you don't hear as much about it after a week, which says to me that it's not so ridiculously useful that they stick with it. But then and then there's some correlations, things that I can just put charts on for, like the E-mini, currencies, that sort of a thing, right? Well, in options, you know, if you wanted to actually see straight up the order flow, you would have to put up dozens of DOMs on your screen. And even if you had the ability to do that, it might not necessarily make sense, because there's not necessarily always a ton of trades going through, you know? So it's and not only that, but trades and options could be so speculative or based on so many other things. I think that even if you had the tools to really see the order flow and options, I think that it would be still really hard to do. I'm interested in inverse moving averages. Well, I've never heard the term inverse moving average, but it sounds to me like you're interested in mean reversion trades. So if you're good at the mean reversion thing, then scalp the E-mini is where I think that those trades are the best. The reason I say that, there's a guy with a thread on Futures.io Elite about the E-mini. I forget what it's called, but it's by far and away the most popular thread on that forum. And that's what he does, is he trades mean revision on the E-mini. So he's grabbing, when he'll look for a run, and then he'll grab a little bit out of the pullbacks on it. And he does quite well with it. It's reflective moving, you misspelled that, but it's moving average to create bounds or moving averages. Yeah, well, or maybe sounds kind of like similar to Bollinger Bands. Man, this is still... Well, where were we? We're at 14.5. When I guess we really could have had an opportunity to buy this. And we could have gotten 4 ticks out of it. But there's no way that I think I could have seen that trade. Oh, so it would be the negative 233 and the 233 moving average. That's interesting. Yeah, I get you. It's interesting. So when the trend changes, the moving averages would probably cross, right? Yeah, that makes sense. Interesting. I don't know. Those are things like, I think moving averages can be helpful, but you don't want a one rule trading system, It needs to be more complicated than that, because one rule is never going to be sufficiently profitable. And there is another strong uptick. Are they going to go to the 18 now? Well, this is definitely getting interesting. I mean, how far could this realistically go? And are we seeing positions from the shorts all the way down unwind, maybe? Yeah, use 9 moving average and 3 indicators. Yeah, something that I've that's been interesting and that has been popular on the forum is super trend. So what they do is they combine like 5 different moving averages, and it shows you a little indicator to say when they're all green or when they're all red.
And when you watch it, it's extremely effective. Like when it's all green, you're going to be going up, and when it's all red, you're going to be going down. But the problem is that it's late, right? So, but it is a nice indicator to have, especially when you're just beginning to get a good idea of like what is actually like seriously up or seriously down. Okay, so they went well past 2665 and well past 2660, and now they're likely to test the lows in the E-mini as well. It can only be as fast as its longest moving average. Yep, exactly. There's another one you should look at, which is I think would have caught both of the good downtrends that we had today. And what is it called? It's called volatility breakout or something like that. And there was a guy that did the death cross, yeah. But he did a webinar on futures IO, and this is oh no, it wasn't a webinar, it was just in one of the threads. And this is a guy that trades algorithms for a living, and he worked for a firm. And he talked about, how many different systems did you have to create until you found something that was profitable and this sort of a thing. And one of the things that they did was they went out and they looked at any indicator that had been put out there by people to see how well they were. And he said that one was the most effective one that he had found and tested that was publicly available. But it's only works NinjaTrader 7. That's why I don't. Otherwise, I would maybe still have it on a chart. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think those momentum breakout strategies can be really effective if you find a good one. It was just called volatility momentum breakout or something like that. It's on there. You just search for it. Because those are trades that nobody expects, But if you're the one person that happens to have that indicator sitting on there that predicts those sorts of things. Well, now that is 4K absorbed 17.5 bid. So whoever is buying this is not done. Wow. I think that I can take a long here now at 18. Are they going to try and take out these pivots from yesterday, like 20.5? Okay, so now now that there's an iceberg there, I don't think this is the right spot for us. Oh, okay. White House, confident that its hardline strategy is succeeding, is planning to ratchet up trade pressure on China, who, by the way, yesterday was saying, nope, we didn't cave, and if you escalate things, it's just going to get worse. So it's still on, and maybe that is why we are moving up. Litecoin continues to be long. Trade issues with China are far from resolved. In fact, we are not even negotiating with them yet and about to heat up next week when Trump unveils the 100 billion in new tariffs. Is that, what is he quoting? Well, that certainly explains the up move, but I'm not going to mess with a 7K iceberg. Not on a Friday. Yeah, don't chase, wait for a pullback. Okay, so this volume node at 15.5. So that ZF, I think, is going to probably come down here a bit. China's top central banker says Beijing won't use depreciation as a weapon, but that doesn't mean the yuan won't depreciate. Russia's defense ministry, referring to alleged chemical attack in Syria, Igoto says Britain was involved in the provocation. Okay. I don't believe you. I like order flow on the chart and not in DOM, but order flow is OP. Yeah, well, I think like cumulative delta is certainly great. I think the kind of order flow that I trade, is really specific to treasuries. Yeah, I mean, you can take this and you can go and do it in the E-mini, of course. But it's like a totally different thing at that point. Because I'm looking at like, okay, there's 2,000. When they tick up, how much actually trades? They put a big bid up, it's iceberging. I can see, okay, nobody was interested in it here, now they are, and kind of judge it based off of that. In the E-mini, I kind of have to look at here, and it's good to see the prices, but really what it just tells you is, oh, okay, there was a lot more interest at this spot than there was before. So then looks like that's probably a pivot area. And I find it really hard still to accurately predict what the E-mini is going to do. Although I have said a couple of like, yep, it's going to do this, and it went, haven't I? So maybe I should be an E-mini trader. I might be able to, their Jigsaw was supposedly added at Sim. Let's see if I can find out. How does that work exactly? How do we do that? Let me just change this for a second. I don't know how to do it. There's supposedly they have a built-in sim now, but I don't know where I set that up at. And I don't see anything in this, like tools. Maybe it's in connections. New, I don't know.
Oops. That's the demo one. No, it doesn't say anything about that either. So I'm not sure. Let's go read the documentation. Manual and install guide. Trade simulator. Oh, I have to go into, okay. I have to go into my dashboard. And, oh no, wait, is it? It's not dashboard. It's this. Create. And we'll give it like a good $10,000. What does that mean? Show an LB. Okay. Oh, show in leaderboard. That's what that means. I don't want to show those. Okay. And then it says that I have to, that they're loaded on startup. So we're going to close this. Costume data view. What do you mean? I don't understand. Okay, so now I should see accounts. I do. I see it. There it is. JT Sim. Awesome. And now, oh yeah, I have it. Okay, good deal. So now if I bring up the e-mini here and I search here and I say experimentation. Oh, yes. Yes, yes. No, I don't want to trade it on my real account. There we go. Okay, so now I could take some simulated e-mini trades. I like it. Not that I'm gonna take one at the moment. tempted to buy? Oh, a custom data view. Well, so what would it show? I'm kind of been feeling like I need to program some stuff. I did the so I got that Bitcoin order tape, and it has cumulative delta in it, and I think it's in a pretty good spot. I have been thinking about I do need to make some robots. Like you need to make some robots that will like whenever Donald Trump tweets, it will automatically put it into our channel. But I don't know, every time that I've looked at that, there was like a way to do it through Zapier but it wasn't like, I don't know, maybe I should just pay the fee for that. How much is that? Let's look at that. The easiest way to automate your work. No. Well, I think I logged in with Google when I did it. Yeah. Yes. See, so here I have it. If something gets posted to these webhooks, then it will pop up in our channel. And I was using Zapier to every time that they tweet, it would show up. But it's not like super fast and stuff. And I'm thinking, oh, maybe I can make a bot that does it. But I don't know how to get like push notifications through Twitter, and this just was easy. And I was saying, how much does it cost again? Oh, why are they all off? Turn him back on. Wow. Market's kind of flipping all over the place here, isn't they? I should move this over here. You guys don't necessarily need to see this. Here we are. So, for $20 a month, you can get 1,000 zaps per month. That's like, you know, and they run every 15 minutes. So I don't even think that would even be enough. So I do think we need to make a Twitter bot of some sort. Is there like a, let's see here, Twitter WebSocket of some sort? There is a Twitter WebSocket blueprint example. Okay, they came down again. Ooh, the E-mini's going. So in here, oh, we have to change something. We have to change something. We have to add, oops, we have to add this. Well, that's not so great. I think we can make some of these columns a little smaller though. No. Okay, there's the 2. All right. This one can be a little smaller. And well, let's just get rid of this since I find that to be useless, to be honest. So if I were to buy here, okay, I don't think that this needs to be quite as big. What did he say here? What does he want? I am studying Python and learning Python mainly to make a personal footprint order flow chart. You know, if I was going to do a footprint, well, so first of all, oh, what platform are you on? Again? Oh yeah, you're using the, of course, you're using the Thinkorswim one, right? I mean, if you do NinjaTrader, you could write your own footprint in C#, which I think is a lot easier. I don't even know, to doing it in Python, like I can't even begin to fathom how you would start doing that, because you would have to like write all of the GUI parts yourself. It'd be a total pain. Oh, so I didn't get filled on anything or anything, did I? No, I just put an order in and I canceled it. And is this one is still good? Yes. Okay. And Matplot? Yeah, but would it be like, it wouldn't be like a live chart at that point. I really think if you just want a footprint chart, that there's probably much easier options for you. You know, I mean, probably the best thing you could do, or the easiest, cheapest, is put $500 into an AMP futures account and use Sierra charts. And I think that think they have a footprint, or maybe you have to pay $5 a month for the footprint, or you could do Ninja. I guess you would have to buy Ninja to do that one. Well, you wouldn't have to make live trades. Like on Ninja, I could all these charts that I have, I can't input trades through Ninja, but I can like show a footprint chart, for instance. Yeah, and I wrote my own. I don't know, I broke it, so it doesn't work right now. So I can't really show it to you. I broke it, but I wanted to make it. One, I wanted to be able to like draw the volume profiles on it, but the other thing is I wanted to make it so that you could group the boxes, because we do it at like every price, but I want to make it so that it could do it at like every 5 or 10 or whatever. And I think that for some instruments, especially really volatile ones, and especially for like Bitcoin futures, could be really useful. But it's just not interesting me enough. But now I've been thinking, I do Olympic weightlifting. I've been thinking about making Olympic weightlifting competition management system, because the ones that exist out there are really awful. You have to take a different measurement. Well, it's not even that. It's just you have like you have a dictionary And the way that it works right now, I make a separate bucket for every price, and all you would have to do is to make a calculation that would make everything between these prices all equal out to this key. So if it would always round it up to the nearest 5. And I think it would be a pretty easy feature to add. And the volume profiles on it, I was also looked pretty easy. But before I did do any of that on my footprint, I still had to refactor code because I was starting with something that somebody else wrote that I don't think was written very cleanly. I don't want to say that it was written poorly, but it wasn't written very cleanly. They didn't use, object-oriented structures and stuff. I only know variables at this point. I don't know buckets. Okay, so what we do is there's something called an array. An array is a sequential list of variables, basically, where you can go in spot 0, it's this, and in spot 1, it's this, and in spot 2, it's this, right? Well, what if we didn't want to refer to them by 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? What if we wanted to refer to it instead by 120, 16, half? So then what you do is you create a hash table. And a hash table basically says, okay, if you input 120, 16, half, that corresponds to spot 1 in my array, is basically how a hash table works. And we call these, in C#, we call these dictionaries. So most of your order flow indicators that you have in NinjaTrader 8, that they have a dictionary behind them working like that. Well, I thought I made one. I'd have to go back and look at my videos. I do have a couple of videos about the indicators, and I think I even made one, but about order flow. But maybe I need to make one about dictionaries. Well, I'm saying I want one that rounds. Obviously, the ones that I made don't do that. The ones I made, it's each individual price. But for Bitcoin, I want one that rounds. Yeah, I think that my coding video had to do with order flow. I have to look, I don't remember. Or maybe I was just planning on doing it and I never did it. Yeah, well, let's go back and look here on my channel. Because I on occasion will do videos like that, but I haven't made a ton of them or anything, because I'm lazy. Some of those did really well though, like the Bitcoin futures one, that was 6,000 people watched that one. Oh no, YouTube is broken. Refresh YouTube and be fixed. Okay. And if I sort it by most popular, hopefully any of those will pop up. I guess not. I have an explanation of what VWAP is. Maybe that's what I was thinking about. Okay, well, we can do that. I will look at it. I don't think I'm going to have any time to do it over a weekend, this weekend or the next, but maybe after that I could make one. Because, you understand, Once you understand what a dictionary is, making these things aren't too hard. The hardest thing is just how to draw it, I guess. But the thing is, the reason why I stopped doing this, the reason I stopped doing that was because I felt like everything that was useful that I could come up with was basically already done or didn't matter. So the only stuff that I haven't seen out there are indicators based on the level 2. So like for instance, I made one that showed you when there was an increase in level 2 like ticks, and it was actually useful. In Bitcoin it was actually quite useful. But and you could make strategies based off of that, but drawing will be interesting. And yeah, but I'm going to guess though, dude, that whatever it is that you want to do probably already exists in NinjaTrader and can just be found on the futures.io downloads section. Most of them. Okay, so we're gonna try oh, there they go. Oh, I guess they're gonna go for the lows. I was thinking about possibly buying it, but yeah. The thing with indicators like that, especially footprints, is that a lot of it has to do with adding extra little features, and as you add those features, your code just very quickly becomes a complete mess. Well, did they tweet something? Well, I think our opportunity to maybe possibly buy it is past. Oh, I totally lost track of time. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna stop, guys. I will try and make something for you, but it's gonna be like 3 weeks, okay? But I would code something that calculates what's being pulled and stacked to what's being traded in order to get price imbalance. I think we could do that in NinjaTrader 8. You just have to come up with the rules. Wow, 10K just traded at 18. Yeah, no thanks. Yeah, I'm done. We're closing it. We're closing it. I will see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.